What history is capable of is connecting the dots through natural disasters, through grief, through deep love, through community involvement, through family, weaving all those parts together so beautifully and so naturally, because it is the fabric that makes us.
This series of Nannup oral histories is so important and so invaluable to our existing community, but also those into the future, because it really shares the stories of those people who have made our community what it is. You know, they're the ones that are out there fighting the fires. They're the ones that are out there grazing the land for the first time. They're the ones that are out there chopping the wood to create a new economy to support the broader community of Western Australia. You know, they're the ones that have chosen Nannup as the place where they want to stop, rest and play. And if we don't catch these stories, then we don't really have the true history of our town.
One went across the road out East Nannup. Most of these sightings, I'm crossing the roads 5 or 10 seconds. It's quick and they're gone, and it's very hard to photograph. So then that's where we use the name Nannup Tiger, because a lot of these sightings were all around here.
Mum always used to joke that they would always go and help Grandpa first. Grandma would be in the kitchen, but the kids had to go and help Grandpa. So they would go and help milk the cows, rush down, get ready for school. So the boys used to always put their feet in cow bim, as my grandpa used to call it, just to keep their feet warm because it'd be freezing. So when they got to school, they got to wash their feet.
When I took on the oral history project, I did not understand the enormity of what I was doing. Having people's history and making sure it's told properly, there's a real honour to it and a real responsibility.
And as an organisation from the Shire of Nannup and our Nannup Shire Council feels that it's very, very important to capture these stories for generations today and into the future.
200 acres. It had a cool spring running the whole length of the farm, and it started off in the bush above the farm. And in the summer, the spring, the water would still be running very slow.
I was standing up here watching someone performing, and I suddenly thought, "Oh my God, I don't remember getting an addition onto my insurance for this." And so I'm standing there in the middle of the concert ringing my insurance company saying, "Oh, can I just add on a concert into our insurance policy?" And they said, "Yeah, when's it starting?" And I said, "Oh, probably about an hour ago."
And when we'd shoot a kangaroo, we'd hang the kangaroo up on the willow tree and we'd take sort of some meat off one side of it and we'd probably eat that. Then the next day that'd all be fly blowing. So we'd go around the other side and cut some meat off that and, you know, got by.
What I really noticed was that history sort of sits in us silent and dormant. And what we've seen through this process is this waking up of history. And you can see it as it spreads across people's faces, and the emotion and the memories just make them light up. Or, you know, it may even be sadness, but there's a real waking up of memories. We sort of put history to the side and get on with our life a lot of the time. But in fact, it shapes and defines us in so many ways, and we carry it with us. That it's really special to have these opportunities to let those memories out and to let them shine again.
Got the gelignite out and put a really long fuse on it to make sure it could get right out of the way. The next minute we hear these 3 old boys coming down on the horse just up the track a little bit from there. And the next minute, boom, this damn thing went off. They were holding the horses back and they were in another camp. We sneaked over in the night, listened to them talking. And I thought, I don't know, he said, "It's good to see these boys with a bit of spark," he said.
You have to understand Vietnam was a different type of war. He's in the field, gets injured, stuck onto a chopper, been to Sydney, into Perth within 48 hours. And all of a sudden, you have to adjust without any of
time and support.
Yeah, right. And that's what people don't realise. And that's why so many of them have so much trouble. You know, they moved in such a quick period of time. They're not doing it with their mates.
Yeah.
They've been split up, whereas the other ones did it on that slow boat to get it out of your system. Well, our guys they just couldn't fit back into society.
That's first butter churn John made.
Wow.
He made that when we had cows at North Boynup.
And because it's small and fairly nimble, you can dodge around trees, but you can see that at the back, that's getting too close to trees. £50 is what I paid for that, and it still goes.
Nanup indeed has become a character that came alive in the voices of those who told their stories. A character that has remained warm and nurturing, but wild and strong. A character that has embraced opportunities and change. Nanup like a nice warm hug, as most people would say.
The Shire of Nanup would like to acknowledge the Wadandi and Bibbulmun people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional custodians of the land of which this podcast was recorded on, and we extend our respect to the elders past and present, and we extend that respect to all Aboriginal Australians living within the Shire of Nanup.
The following conversation with Rob Stanley contains some discussion around drug use and death. If you feel like that's something you can't engage with right now, we encourage you to skip, but please come back because this is an interesting conversation about Rob's art and his time in Nanup.
You can't go wrong here. If you lie, if you cheat or do anything, everyone knows about it. So it makes you an honest person, you know. You have to do the right thing because everyone will know what you did.
This is the Nanup Oral History Podcast. Rob Stanley, thanks so much for coming to talk to us today.
You're welcome.
I've read a lot about your art over the last week.
Have you?
Yeah. But it would be really interesting to hear about you and your history. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I came to Nanup back in '84, so I've been here quite a while.
What brought you here?
I came over for a holiday.
That happens to a lot of people.
46 years ago, with my brother in a combi, going surfing the whole way, and we got to Scarborough. It was the furthest west point you could go, so we found somewhere to live. Ended up getting married. I went to uni at Waite and got a degree in fine art. Went around Australia for 12 months with a little boy, 2 years old, and we were with the intention of buying somewhere to live, to bring up a family. I had $2,000 in my pocket, been all around, right up the top and down to the middle, up the top of Cooktown, and zigzagged all the way down. And realised we hadn't been south, so we came down to Nanup, and there's a friend who owned the property there. Look, if you've got $2,000, use that as a deposit, and pay me the rest off, which is $5,000. I was on the dole and didn't know how I was going to pay that amount of money each week, and went up to the hospital, had a cut on my finger, and they told me there's a job as an orderly going if I wanted a job. So I started the following week, and I got sacked 5 years later, and it was the last payment. So basically I retired then.
Wow. So your shop had been owned by a couple of partners and you bought it?
Bought one share, then the other guy said, I'll do the same, and give us $2,000. So I ended up taking 5 years to pay them off.
Yep. So can you tell us about your journey from buying it to now?
Well, my wife left me because we also owned 15 acres out at Jelbarraga, and we had a house transported from Bussells on trucks and had it put together out there and made sheds and chook pens, and eventually we separated, and she had her place basically and I had my place, so there was no lawyers, there's no change of anything. We just said, well, you have yours, I have mine, but we still talk to each other, we're good friends, and I still see the boys. One of the boys died 4 or 5 years ago, and he was 43.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's all right. He's probably quite happy about that because he was into the ice, and it was a terrible thing I went through with him. Very violent, trying to love someone who doesn't love you back is not easy. Always had a weapon near every doorway. And not that he hit me with it, but he threatened me so many times. And it was a hard life for a couple of years. But then he had a heart problem and eventually died. There was no help for it. People with ice. Government weren't helping, no one helped. There was nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just waited out, basically.
Was that in Nana?
Yeah. My other son lives with his mother out at Jelbarragum. He's more of a farmer. There's pigs and goats and ducks and all that stuff, and grows heaps of veggies. And I'm helping him build his house out there. I do stonework. I'm a stonemason in a sense. Self-taught.
And you started your gallery at Warren Road?
I lived in the back. It only had a small room at the back of the main gallery. And when I was married for the second time, after me having to shift into the gallery, I had to make it livable. I had no toilet. I had a toilet at the back, like one of those, what do they call it, a thunder box in the backyard. And I had to make a kitchen, laundry, bathroom, lounge room out of a small area. And then we had a couple of kids. This is not big enough, so got more stone from up the back hill up here and kept carting it back and building more and more, building a nice big stone house at the back of the gallery, 2-storey.
So you added all of the house at the back?
Built everything, yeah. When I first bought the place, it was just a paddock of high grass. There was no fences or anything around it.
There was nothing on Warren Road?
Oh, the shop itself on the main street, but the rest was just a paddock.
So what was the shop used for before, do you know?
Before me, it was a fish and chip shop because all the grease on the back where they had the vats and that was all greasy walls and roofs, so I had to clean all that out when I first got there. But the person who owned it before me, he got it from the fish and chip shop and he was going to turn it into a laundromat. If you look through the dusty windows, one window was boarded up with boards. It was even a condemnation from the Shire on the door. It's going to be condemned if someone doesn't do something. So he was desperate to sell it, I think, because all these washing machines are in there that he was going to have a laundromat with. And the Shire knocked him back after approving it because there was too much clay in the soil. The water wouldn't drain away. There's only leach drains down here then. So they knocked it back and he couldn't do it. So
how did you come to have a gallery there?
I had another young family. I got married again and 2 more kids, a boy and a girl, beautiful kids. She's part Aboriginal. Because of that, I had to build more houses, more of a house at the back, and gave me an impetus to put my paintings in the gallery. I had to do it all up. I had to sand all the floors down and do it all up and make it into a gallery, which I did, and started putting my artwork up and I was selling it. Built a kiln down the back shed. So I was firing up my own ceramics, doing stone carving, some wood carving. And what I was selling, I was just buying building materials with. Like if I needed a certain thing, I'd wait until I had that amount of money and go and buy it. Until I had everything I needed, then started building. And yeah, I've never built a house in my life. I don't know how, well, I do know how I did it, it's because I wanted to. I mean, you can do anything really, it's put your mind to it. You look at a book on how to build a house, it's just a frame. A frame is a pretty simple thing to do in timber. You put all the 4 frames together and you've got 4 walls. You work out how to do the roof. But the gallery did all right and it was going well for quite a while. But my wife, there's always a woman problem, you know. So I closed down. I rented it out actually to Ray White because when my wife left me, I had to pay her for half of my house. And that's paid me $1,600 a month. But I never really got much of it, just went to the bank. But I survived. I could keep my house when she left.
So what is it about Nannup and that property that made you want to stay?
Well, right next to the post office, it's one of the best positions you could have in a main street of Nannup. I'm not a businessman, no. This is not a problem, but I could be a successful businessman if I put my mind to it. But I haven't got that mind. I'm an artist. I just want to produce art. I just want to have a nice lifestyle. It's more about lifestyle than making money for me. And it's good when I sell something. I'm quite pleased with it. Before I came down here, the dream was to have a gallery at the front, a studio down at the back, and a place to live in the middle. And I had this property and I did that. Once I achieved it, once you've done what you set out to do, you sit and enjoy it. You know, you're in there, you're doing it. So there was no reason to leave. I had what I wanted. And I I've thought of it a couple of times. I put it on the market a couple of times, but I got scared off because I couldn't imagine buying anything better than what I had. Doesn't matter about the money. I could get $1 million for it today.
Well, what is it about the Nannup lifestyle in particular?
Beautiful country town. I brought up 2 sets of kids here. And yeah, the people here are all very friendly people, and you can get along with everybody. You can't go wrong here. If you lie, if you cheat or do anything, everyone knows about it. So it makes you an honest person, you know. You have to do the right thing because everyone will know what you did.
Obviously, you've got a book of your art. I'd love to talk about you as an artist, your journey. It says there 54 years. I'm imagining a lifetime of creating.
Yeah, I don't know where to start, really. Well, when I went to 8 doing the arts degree, I always wanted to paint. I've always been a painter. But when I went there, they said, if you paint like that, we'll fail you. You have to do abstract painting, what we teach you, not what you want to do. So I thought, I thought I'll major in sculpture and have painting as an elective, which gave me more freedom of what I want to do. So I majored in sculpture, really. And after the second marriage broke down, I took off to Kalgoorlie because I heard there's a gold fever going on over there. So I took the old Holden over there and stayed there for 2 years and made 20 grand. Came back and built my own kiln. There's a bloke in the pub up in a beach in near, what is it called again? Florida Beach or somewhere. He agreed to meet me. He builds kilns and told me how to build one step at a time. Do a diagram on the table, on the coasters, shout him a few beers, say go and build that, come back when you're finished. And a month or 2 later, come back and say, this is stage 2, this is stage 3, until I built the thing. Took a lot of money and a lot of time, but once again, I couldn't believe I did it myself. You know. A 6-burner gas-fired kiln, it stands pretty big. And I used that to make some lounge lizards, which everyone's sort of familiar with the term, I think, but couch potato, lounge lizard, TV watcher. They're quite big. They're solid clay. I'll make the lounge or the seat first, hand-built slabs and put it together and decorate it, look like a couch. And with the lizard, just, you get a bit of clay and roll it out like a roll and get water and just keep taping it so it's got a long, thin tail. You flop it onto the couch and you make it 2 arms and 2 legs and put a bit of head on it. And you got a lounge lizard. Little waist, little remote control and a can of beer in his hand. They were popular. And other things you can do in clay. It's so versatile. You can do anything with clay. And I was selling prints only at the moment because all my originals are still stored away, all wrapped in sheets. I had a curator of the Bunbury Art Gallery come down to check me out one day and took him up there and I was just unwrapping them, showing him. He said, man, these are brand new. No, they're 30 years old, some of these. Never seen a light of day. Brilliant colours because I paint very colourful paintings.
Yeah, they're incredibly vivid when you look even at that one. Can you tell us about that book?
Yeah, well, Gnostic Surrealism, I think what I've done is created my own art genre. This is an offshoot from Surrealism, like Salvador Dali, where Gnostics were one of the oldest known, I wouldn't like to call it religion, but spiritual group that got together and understood the truth, what it was. Yeah, there's lots of references, but it's not all it's not all Gnostic. I mean, you can fix politics and do everything else you like, but unless you deal with the archons, you haven't fixed anything. They're in your head. They're the thoughts that say, go and do it. They're not a being, not a body. They're a thing like us. They're a spirit being.
So how do you take that and put it into your art?
Well, I do a lot of sketching in pencils, and I've got lots of sketchbooks. And when I do a painting, I look through them and find one I think, oh, that'll look good in paint. But they've got to come up with the colours, I've got to come up with a composition. I just got to make it all up in my head. Don't use anything by still lifes or anything like that to run by. It's just...
What is it about the vivid colours that really grab you? Because that's a running theme in all your painting.
I know. My brother's an artist too, but he does landscapes and seascapes. He's a little more realistic, whereas mine looks more fantasy. It's very bright. What the artists do to make it more natural is they put a bit of white in it or a bit of black in it to dumb it down, to tone it down. I don't do that. I like the straight out of the tube and like a nice, rich, bright colours. Because maybe this veil that's over us now is stopping us seeing how bright and brilliant this place is. It's like a blanket's over everything. So the artists paint the blanket, if you like. So it looks real, but it's only real to what reality you perceive.
You did say that you lived through the hippie era in Nannup. What does that mean to you?
Well, like when we were pioneers back then, back in '84. It was only 2 years after the big flood we had down there, just a very big flood. Went up pretty high, went up right up close to the pub there. After that, all these people like me, and I can name a whole lot, but I won't bother with all the names, probably 10, 15 people had the same idea at the same time. We all bought land or houses around Nannup. And because of that, we're all doing the same things, bringing up kids at the same age, and we had a gardening a week where we'd go to one person's place, like 15 of us. We'd have a beautiful big meal and a big drink afterwards, but we'd do gardening all day. It can be incredible what happens with 15 people. Weeding, trimming, mulching. We did that for quite a while until we petered out.
What were people talking about and interested in and involved with in that time?
Well, because, like I was saying, we'd all had much the same age kids. We're all having kids at the same time, and they're all going to school, so we're all in a common interest with our kids, mainly, like school functions. And as our friends, we'd have our own little circle. Everyone has their own.
Were your kids at the Nannup District High School?
Yeah. But it only went to year 10, and if you wanted further education, you had to do the last 2 years in another town. So my kids went to Margaret River High School for the 2 years. My wife at the time got a caravan park over there, and they lived in a caravan, separate from me, because we were broken up then, yeah.
Have there been some really key moments that you've seen Nannup change?
It's one of the things about Nannup is you don't see much change. It looks much the same as it ever was, but a lot more people. We used to be able to find a car park, but it's hard to find one now. There's always cars going up and down the road. Because I sit out the front of my gallery and have a cup of tea and a cigarette, and you notice the amount of people around. My kids used to play with their matchbox toys in the middle of the road once. This is before tourism. So tourism hasn't been around that long. No one knew what tourism was. It wasn't a word used. And a friend of mine told me about tourism when I was over in Greenbushes. So I got the art gallery going for tourism. And someone else heard about it, this corner shop here. And he had the money to do something. He put all the knickknacks like you do in business and just fill it with stuff. Did very well. Sold up and went. Everyone's left. I'm the last one here, in a sense. I don't want to do it. It wasn't about making the money for me.
I'm very interested in your process. You talk about sketching to painting. That's very interesting. Or if there's specific paintings that you want to share the story of?
With my paintings, I don't like to leave them up to interpretation because people say, oh, look at that, that means this. And it means nothing of a sort to me. It's not why I painted it. So I've got descriptions to every painting. And when you read them, you go, wow, because that's exactly what I'm thinking about the world or what the mess we're in, about why the trees are like that. And this is because there's messages behind each painting. They've got a meaning behind them. I don't think artists should be vases of flowers and things you can take pictures of. It should be something you can't take a picture from. I've got one called Crucified Forest. It's a tree built out of planks of wood and ladders and bits of wood like furniture, all nailed together to make the shape of a tree. In the background there's a whole forest of them all nailed together, which it says something, the fact that we've gone too far, we should put them back. It's impossible, but it makes you think about what we've done. A lot of trees in my paintings.
Yeah, I think I just read about prayer tree.
That one there. The description goes like this. A tree stands straight and tall in the blue Australian sky. The tree's roots are fingers of a hand that grips the landscape in its desperation to survive the results of farming practices that have taken too many trees and left those that are now dying from depleted soils. The hand becomes two hands in supplication as it prays to be spared as it stares down into the abyss below. The prayer directs you up into the branches as it's seen from below. It is silent plea for help. This is not Christianity. Events of everyday life is directly linked to the quality of our feelings. The stuff that underlies all of creation is a malleable essence that reflects what we feel. So what prayer we choose to create, we must first feel as a reality. If we can feel it in our hearts, then it will be possible in our lives. They go pretty deep.
Can I see the painting? I just really love the colour. Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah, well, I have taken some of my work over to the Margaret River Galleries earlier on, just a few years ago now, and had a few pieces over there. And then I let it lapse for years. And then when I went back to sort of, can I put some more in there? I said, who are you? Because it changed hands. Sorry, but we're full up with artists. We can't take any more. Love your work, but, you know.
The trees and things that you were just showing us, is that forest inspired by Nana?
Yeah, I guess it would be. After my first marriage failed, I went down to Denmark to help my brother build his house. I was very depressed. I was drinking a lot of whiskey. Went down the beach, saw this lady down there. I just poured my heart out to her. And she told me she'll go and see this lady, lives in Albany, a really old lady. She does a bit clairvoyant. She gave me the phone number, rang her up, went over there, came in. She said, hello, dearie, and sit down there. And gave me some scissors to cut a bit of my hair off. She put it on her forehead. And she says, the Spirit's got to tell you 5 past lives. We've all had thousands, but this 5 is going to be relevant to who you are now. She said, oh, you're an artist in Paris. You paint very bright pictures. You know, oh, what? And you died at the age of 22 of tuberculosis. You had a paint-splattered smock. You lived in an attic in Paris. So I didn't get to be an artist at 22. So this life, I paint the bright pictures, and I'm actually doing it. I've been doing it for years. So I've continued that life on. Another life, I was in Germany as a woodcutter in the forests. And the Spirit said that was my best lifetime. I had a family and I was my own boss. And it takes all day to cut a tree down. And I hate to see what they're doing to the trees now. With chainsaws, and they're just totally mismanaged. And that's why I live in the bush. I've got this thing about trees because I used to be a woodcutter. I was a Neolite in Egypt. And they had long black hair and white robes as a woman, which studies the healing arts and the mysteries. And that's why I'm interested in the mysteries. I was a monk, a bald bit and a rough rope and sandals. I learnt patience in that lifetime. I was an athletic in the Olympic Games in Greece. I used to run in the nude because in those days must have been one of the early games. I was admonished amongst the men. I was put up on a pedestal. I was famous. And the biggest downfall in that lifetime was my pride. So I don't have it in this one. I don't promote myself. I don't care about making any money. I just want to paint because I'm not proud of it. I am, but I'm not telling what I am. You know what I mean? All those lives is who I am. And I was crying at the end of it because I understood who I was a little bit more than I did before. She said, oh, there's a 3-sided pyramid and you've got body, mind, spirit, and one's a bit shorter than the other. You've got to meditate. It'll bring it all back to equal, sorry. So I started meditating and did about 10 Vipassana courses. You ever met those? 10 days silent retreat. You don't talk, you just meditate for hours. Quite an experience, that one. Well, I should have died 2 or 3 times, I reckon. Just like when I was born, I had meningitis or something. In those days, you died of it. And there's some wonder cure. They haven't tried it yet, but if my dad signed the paperwork, they try it out. If I died, they can't blame them. So they put it in me, I survived. And I was only 1 year old. So lucky to be here. I know, like we all have guardian angels. I think there's always someone watching over me and caring for me. And I don't have to worry about too much. Everything's supplied. The bird doesn't reap or sow, and yet it's clothed and fed. When I first came here, it was very difficult as pioneers to come to a town like this because it was a mill town, and we were all about not cutting the forest down. I had over a dozen eggs pelted at my shop because I was standing up for the trees. And tell me to F off and all this stuff. It was just really bad. They almost had the pitchforks out telling me to get out of town, And they hated us. And when they saw us having babies and we actually looked like we were going to stay here, they started to accept us, but it took a long time. The pub used to be full of mill people. I'd never go down there. It was a hard life here at the time, at those days.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that you chose a mill town.
Yeah. Well, he chose me, I think. Only place you could find with $2,000. Yeah, so glad I did. Best place to live. I wouldn't live anywhere else. So many people come here and wish they lived here. More every day you hear about people want to live here.
Oh, thanks so much, Rob. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you very much. It's been enjoyable.
If this conversation has brought up any issues for you, please contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. You've been listening to the Nannup Oral History Podcast. If you are not a Nannupian, please come and visit our small town. We would love you to come. If you are a Nannupian, please share it with your family and friends. We're really proud of this, and we hope you are too.
This podcast was made possible through the successful funding by the Department of Community's Age Friendly Community Program, facilitated through the local government's professionals and supported by the Shire of Nannup. We would like to thank all of those who have shared their stories to make this podcast happen. The podcast has been produced by the Shire of Nannup's Economic and Community Development team and edited by Simple Ben Stories.